Good morning, students. Once again, welcome back to yet another session of the online English classes. In today's video, we are going to continue with our discussion of the last chapter of the Marigold book, Who Will Be NINGTHOU. As you already know, 2 videos have already been uploaded for this chapter. This is the 3rd video in the complete series. But before we start discussing anything new, it's very important to first have a look at all the important things that we discussed in the previous video. So, in the very beginning, we discussed that the NINGTHOU and the Lema lived in Kangleipak with their children. So, who is the NINGTHOU and the Lema? NINGTHOU is the king and Lema is the queen. And NINGTHOU and Lema are the Manipuri words for king and queen. So, they lived in their kingdom. The kingdom was called Kangleipak. It is again a Manipuri word. They lived with their 3 children. So, who are the 3 children? Sanayamma, Sanajoba and Sanatomba. These are the 3 sons of the royal couple. And next we saw that they were loved by their people and also by the birds and animals. Yes, so these were the rulers who believed that not only the people in their kingdom should live peacefully, but also all the other living creatures. So they not just cared for the humans, but they cared for all the other living things. They believed that everyone in their kingdom should live peacefully. And we also discussed that Miyam is the Manipuri word for people. So students, in the previous video, we learned some Manipuri words. In today's video as well, we will learn some new Manipuri words. Now let's start the discussion. 12 years later, a daughter was born. So we discussed that the royal couple had only 3 children. No. Now there is an addition to their family. 12 years later, a girl was born. She was named Sanatombi. She was a lovely child, soft and beautiful inside. She was loved by one and all. Okay, so here we are talking about Sanatombi, how she was. She was a very good girl. She was loved by everyone and she was very soft and beautiful inside. So you're not supposed to consider this soft and beautiful to be her physical attributes. No, here we're not talking about how she looked physically, but how she was as a human being. She was a very good human being. She was a soft and a beautiful human being. Alright, so this is not the physical description of Sanatombi, but it describes how she was as a human being. Now here again the royal family, the chart of the royal family has come, but it's a bit different because in the last video we saw that the NINGTHOU and the Lema had only 3 children, but now they have 4 because 12 years later another daughter was born to them. So now the NINGTHOU and Lema have 4 children and their names are Sanajoba, who is a son, Sanayamma, another son, Sanatomba, another son, and finally Sanatombi, a daughter. The years went by and the children grew up well. And then one day the NINGTHOU called all his ministers and said, "It is now time to decide the Tangi NINGTHOU, the future king." So students, here is another new Manipuri word for you, that is Tangi NINGTHOU, or which means future king in English. The ministers were shocked. But oh NINGTHOU, what is there to decide? Sanajoba, your eldest son, will be your future king. Okay, so why are the ministers shocked? You see, in every kingdom around the world, maybe not in all kingdoms, but most of the kingdoms that we know of, or the stories that we have read of kings and queens, we have always seen that the eldest son of the king gets to become the ruler. So it is never checked beforehand whether the future king has the good capabilities of becoming a good ruler or not. Just because the custom says that the eldest son has to become the king, this custom is blindly followed everywhere. So it is not even checked properly whether the person can be a good ruler or not. So here also the same thing is happening. The ministers were expecting this, So they were shocked when the king said something like this, because when he is saying that it is time to decide the Tangi Nindhu, he's not saying that he will make his eldest son the Nindhu, the future Nindhu. Why? Because he believes that there has to be a fair competition, there has to be a fair play. Let us see what happens next. Well, the Nindhu replied, that's how it happened in the old days. The eldest son always became the king, but times have changed. Now see, students, here we are talking about a king, the present Nindhu. Here he's a person who does not blindly believe in old customs, in old rules. Okay, so he is a man who believes that a king should not be made a king just because his father was a king. He believes that a person should become a king or a queen, or if we say a person should become a ruler, only if he or she has the right capability for it. All right. So he also says, so let us select a king who is most worthy of becoming a king. Yes, let us see what the word worthy means. The word worthy can be understood in many ways. So the very first meaning is something that is having worth, merit or value. Next comes honorable and admirable. So if you come across a person whom you honor a lot, whom you respect or whom you admire a lot, that person can also be called worthy. And at last comes the word deserving. For example, if you have won something or if you have earned something, and the fact that you have earned it or you have won it, if you were the best person to earn that or to win that, that means you were deserving of that. Alright, so the third meaning of the word worthy is applicable in this chapter. So let us select a king who is most worthy of becoming a king. So now students, you see, the present Nindhu is someone who is going against the traditions. He is breaking an age-old custom. Yes, he believes that a ruler should become a ruler only when he or she possesses all the good qualities of a ruler. He does not believe that only because the son has been born to a king, only then the person or the son or the eldest son should be getting a chance to become a king. No, there should be a fair chance. There should be a fair game. We will have a contest to select the future king. What exactly does contest mean? The word contest means an event in which people compete for supremacy in a sport or other activity. So it is basically another word for competition. You all know what a contest is. You all know what a competition is. Yes. So now in this chapter also we are going to see a contest. Let us see what it is about. We will have a contest to select the future king, the Lema said. So see students, the Lema is also having a say here. It is not just the king who is making all the decisions, but the queen also has a role to play in it. And so, in the land of Kanleipak, there is a contest, a horse race. Alright, so what is the contest? It's not a cricket match, it's not a football tournament, it is a horse race. Whoever reached the Kongnang, the banyan tree, first would be declared the Tangi Nindhu. Alright, so this is what the contest was about. So there will be a horse race among all the three sons of the Nindhu and the Lema, and the finishing mark would be a banyan tree, and whoever was the first one to reach the banyan tree would be declared as the Tangi Nindhu or the future ruler. In today's video, you have learnt two more Manipuri words. One is the Tangi Nindhu, which means the future king. Another is Kongnang, which means a banyan tree. Students, all the Manipuri words that you are learning in this chapter are unfamiliar to you. So it would be better if you write down these words and practice. Now, let us summarize all the important points that we have discussed in this part of the chapter, who will be Nindhu. The very first point that we discussed was that 12 years later, Sanatombi was born to the Nindo and Lema. So Sanatombi was a girl, and after she was born, the Nindo and the Lema, or the royal couple, had 4 children. One day, the king decided to choose the Tangi Nindo. And who is the Tangi Nindo? It is the future king of Kangleipak. The ministers in the court suggested that Sanajoba should be the future king as he was the eldest. But the Nindo disagreed. Why? Because he believed that the worthiest among all his children should be the future ruler. And finally we saw that a horse race was organized to declare the Tangi Nindo. So we'll find out in the next video what happens in the horse race and who becomes the winner of the horse race. Now it's time for you to answer some very easy questions based on today's discussion. The very first question is, what did the Nindo discuss with his ministers? Number 2, how did the Nindo want to select their future king? Number 3, what are the banyan tree and future king called in Manipuri? Number 4, according to the king, what happened in the old days? So, these are very easy questions. I hope you'll have no difficulty in answering these. Alright students, with this we come to the end of our today's discussion. The next part of the chapter Who Will Be Nindo will be discussed in the upcoming few videos. Until then, stay safe and goodbye.